So previously, in our wonderful campaign of Adventure Awaits, you made your way into the grand city of Waterdeep along the Sword Coast. There, you were able to bring Juliet back to life and catch your breath after many hard days of consistent travel. Staying at the Violet Jester, a local inn that apparently Juliet had stayed at before, you all took some much-needed rest, got some good food, before you were all confronted by cloaked individuals supposedly working for Lady Joylyn Battlehammer, Orsk's sister, who lives in the area. Upon Orsk spilling the beans about all your adventures, she had probed the local council, which she now sits on, to see what type of information there might be discreetly, and apparently found out that an ambush was being planned against you and your compatriots. So she gathered you guys up hastily in the middle of the day, bringing you to her estate. And we pick up now, locked in the reading room.
How do you know this?
The council called an emergency meeting this morning, and they said that some heroes of the Way In had come to town, and they were planning a huge celebration and ball for them. You know, they control the government of Daggerford, you said, so I can only assume they do here, too. This celebration's probably just a cover to get you guys vulnerable.
I really do think we should leave town as soon as we can.
I do agree with you on that.
There's so much danger out there. She just died a few days ago.
And she's back now.
But I got better.
For the first time, she makes eye contact with you, Juliet. And even though the clerics helped out just earlier today, you see her shudder for a split second as the effect still happens.
Oh, right, the eyes.
Interesting.
What happened to the previous
He
holder
retired.
of your position?
He was ready to retire. It's, as I've already seen in my first few weeks, it's pretty stressful. Everyone comes to you with concerns, so it can get tiresome.
Is he still in town, or did he leave Waterdeep?
I think he went up to Neverwinter to get away for a little while.
Okay.
I mean, they picked me because so many people knew me from the clothing line. Person of the people already.
So Orsk steps forward and he's like, I want to ask you something, and please don't be offended whenever I ask you this. Do you remember whenever we were kids and you blackmailed me and you had me model for the dresses that you made? What exactly?
For the Devore line of dresses, yeah.
Yes, yes. Do you remember what was the reason why you blackmailed me?
Because you didn't want Mom to find out you had a bunch of bugs in your room.
So Orsk immediately turns around and says, okay, she is who she says she is.
You're welcome to stay here in the estate as long as you wish. There's plenty of guest rooms available, and the keepers can see to your needs. Stay safe, brother. And
Stay
she
safe
will
to
go
you as
out
well.
the side door.
Alright, well, I'm ready to go if you all are.
I believe it's still early, right? We had things to do.
We need tents at long last.
You guys were easily enough able to find a general store. It is 2 gold pieces per tent. Squeezing them in there, you can fit 4. Comfortably fits like 2 or 3. And there's some pretty nice tents.
How much is it for arrows?
You can get 20 arrows for 1.5 gold.
Awesome.
How much for 7 arrows? Kai needs to restock as well.
Yeah, 7 silver for 7 arrows. They're cheaper if you buy them in more bulk, like the 20. So you're paying more for only 7.
I'm just looking for crafting materials. Stuff for a saddle, I guess?
The hide for a saddle that you could then craft yourself with your leather working kit would run you 10 gold. And then another gold's worth of just some random stuff you can craft, like smaller little pouches, or maybe a bag if you just want to tinker. A measuring tape for like 2 silver.
I think we'll do both.
Okay.
Would like to look for component pouches.
25 gold for a fully stocked component pouch.
What if it was 24 gold?
You want to
Hear
try
me
to
out.
haggle?
No, because I can't roll for anything, so it's not worth
I'll
it.
haggle for Juliet if we're in the same store. Oh, this is a really nice pouch. How much?
A young dwarven woman that is manning the shop counter looks up at you. 25 gold for that. Comes fully stocked
wow.
with your basic components for you.
This is a really nice pouch. I love the items in here. My friend will like this. But you know, I bought a lot of pouches like these before. Usually I could get it for 18.
18? Where are you getting it for 18? Looks around at the other pile of things you guys have gotten. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check for me, Kai. And I'll say with advantage. I mean, you're buying tents and leather. Okay, 18. That's fine.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely come back. And I'll neatly plop it in Juliet's hand.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, how much can I get for 10 minotaur teeth, 3 hooves, and 3 horns?
That are definitely a little bit ripe now since your battle with these entities. She looks at them and is taken aback for a second. Probably give you 10 gold for the lot.
I'll take it. Thank you.
All right. She'll pull out this little bag and with the stick just dump everything in and set it off to the side. All right, so to the library. There is a inner wall within Waterdeep here towards the center by Castle Sasaru. To get to the main library, you actually have to head through this inner wall, and you see this huge, if there was multiple floors inside, would probably be 5 or 6 stories tall. Solid carved marble building with beautiful painted patterns all across the sides and a grand marbled staircase leading up to it. Many well-dressed individuals standing at the stairs with books and notepads open discussing different things. 2 matching wood and marble double doors that stretch almost half the height of the building, propped open with people coming in and out. And as you head up the large staircase, you see standing at a podium at the entrance, checking people as they walk in and out. Welcome to the Waterdeep Library. If you need anything, please let me or any of the other associates know.
Thank you.
This place is massive within. It is all one floor. There is not multiple levels to this, and the bookshelves are floor to ceiling, with these gigantic ladders sliding down.
Well, I suppose this is the part where we can split up, as long as we all stay in the library.
I will point to a random table and just say, let's meet up there in an hour and a half or so.
Sounds good to me.
Let's do that.
I want to see if I can't find any sort of romance novel that catches his fancy.
For each of you, I'm going to have you guys just roll 2 d20s, so I can use those rolls for whatever ends up becoming necessary. This will also impact your searches, if you need anyone to help you.
Hey.
In terms of romance novels, I mean, there's a whole gigantic section. It's up to you what you want.
So there's like this big stack of them, right? And I'm going to pick the one at the very bottom of the pile.
You find Adultery and the Archmages.
Ooh, that's scandalous.
Very much is. There's a reason it's on the bottom of the pile now.
So I like to imagine it's at the bottom of this pile of books that stacks at least 20 or 30 books high. And he's going to try to pull the book out, like one trick where someone pulls the tablecloth and all the like silverware stuff on the table.
You're adept and dexterous enough to pull this off. Pull the book out and boom, the rest of the pile goes down and settles. And someone that was few rows down for you just looks over and is like, and goes back to looking through her books.
Or straunts away proudly, holding the book.
Boros.
I am interested in learning Yuan-Ti history and the runes that are potentially on my sword.
You're able to find a section mainly about the continent of Chult, where your people come from, the history of such. A lot of it is filled with rumor and speculation surrounding Yuan-Ti culture. There's very little recorded about it. Runes on your sword, you consult with multiple of the librarians throughout, even showing them the runes on your sword. They have nothing within the library matching this. The closest you can find is a encyclopedia of magical runes, but nothing within comes close to matching what's on your sword.
Did you get this sword from father?
Juliet wants to look specifically on any Fae lore. Anything other than, like, children's fairy tales, because she's already read all of those. She also would look into cults of Faerun, specifically on anything with, like, snake themes.
There is an entire section on the Feywild. The border between the material plane and the Fey is one of the closest borders between planes in existence when you're talking about planar travel, which makes it extremely simple in relative terms to get between them. It is not something that every person can do, not even close, but if you're talking about planar travel, traveling to the Fey is one of the first things a student learning this would learn. There are even permanent places set up within the Sword Coasts, and most likely within Waterdeep itself, that have permanent connections between the material plane and the Fey realm. In terms of the cults on Faerun, we'll definitely need some assistance to locate and narrow down. There isn't a big banner for one of these aisles titled Cults. You are led over to a section where you see Boros with another one of the librarians within the history of Chult.
We'll share then.
Jen.
Oh, there's that nat 1.
Damn, wrong person though.
Wait, someone said on the bingo card that someone rolls a nat 1?
Someone specific, yeah.
Yeah, you.
It's me.
Yep.
First thing I'm most curious about, the fire spirits, fire wolf, anything of that nature. I believe we were informed of the Shadarkai, so anything about the Shadarkai. Third is Juliet's symbol, her crest.
In relation to fire spirits, you are directed towards information about elementals, where they come from, and you know that fire elementals can take pretty much any form made of fire, and they are heavily magical in nature. The Shadarkai has less information, but it's a lot more solid. They come from the plane of Shadowfell that the Raven Queen resides on, and that they are a subset of drow that are in her service. The information ends there. There's descriptions of them that match what you know. Past that, most people don't survive interactions with Shadarkai, and no one has ever been able to enter Shadowfell and report back about them. And Juliet's crest, I will message you later on.
Any pictures of maps? I'm curious of where I am. I've been hearing people say we're at the Sword Coast, so we'll look for that. About magical animal creatures, specifically like the ones that we have. Anything has to do with like losing your memory, magical things of losing your memories.
There is actually an entire section, drawers and drawers, where maps are just laid out flat so that they don't get bent or wrinkled or anything. You get a really good idea of the Sword Coast itself, the roads, the places you've been, and it all starts to make sense in your mind. And you're even able to find Neverwinter and Phandalin, and now you really have a picture of where you're at and where you're going.
Okay.
You find no information on shrooms, though you do find information on phoenixes. I'm happy to send you that later on as well.
Okay.
You're able to find many different references to magical means of manipulating memory, high-level magics that can even change a person's complete perception of reality, and then of course there's many physical, medical reasons, like hitting your head. After about an hour and a half, you all slowly begin to convene in the large seating area of this massive library that, even with so many people in here, is very quiet. You all make your way to the Violet Jester. It is now at this point approaching mid-afternoon. It will take them a couple of hours to pack up and go over inventory before they leave town to make sure they have everything.
Grab my kit that I purchased, and I'm going to grab some stuff. I have 2 vials of monitor blood. Use the blood of the monitor to brew an HP potion.
There's going to be a few rolls for this. And are you using any other ingredients?
I don't have anything else except asparagus, but...
First of all, a general intelligence roll to try and figure out what the steps would be necessary with the alchemy kit that you have to transition this blood.
And I also get +1 from the kit.
You know that with any type of living creature's blood, there's certain toxins and other elements within that you have to filter out. You begin distilling this down, and I need you to go ahead and make a dexterity check with advantage. After your separations, you come out with this dark red liquid. It's not as thick as the original blood, and you believe that hopefully this potion would have some healing effects if taken.
I'm going to make the eye patch for Juliet, if that's okay.
General dexterity check for me. You craft a functional eye patch. It's pretty flat instead of like a normal eye patch that match the curvature one's eye sockets.
I hand it to Juliet. Yeah, try this on. If it doesn't fit right, let me know and I'll adjust it if I can.
Thank you. Juliet will try on the eye patch.
She's gonna play with shrooms. Playful but training matter, if that makes sense.
Make a general animal handling check for me. You get her in a familiar state where you can tap one shoulder, tap an arm for her to perch at. And the merchants are ready to depart.
We decided to go up the interior road, right?
Taking the right side, yeah.
Running through the center of Waterdeep, head over this sturdy bridge through the market quarter, past all the beautiful stalls and plot points within, and you head out of the gate onto the high road. Heading northward, you guys know, especially from the maps that you guys would have had easy access to, a few hours travel before the road splits, following the coast or going inwards along the long road, and you decide to split off, go onto the long road. It's fairly well traveled, so you pass by plenty of people at this time of day. As we pick up the next day, about midday, you find your way to Rossalintar. This is a tiny little hamlet, purely for farming, and is under the protection of Waterdeep. Have just a small detachment of Townsguard. Doesn't have any inns or taverns.
Hey, Orsk, what do you have in your hand? Time skip.
No, wait!
It's a very jarring experience every time. It just rushes you guys forward as you see the days pass up in the sky. It is about another day's travel. Temporary ward that you took under your wing, Arthrid, mentioned that his grandfather was taking him to Amphale, to an orphanage, and be a safer environment for him to stay. About a half day before you would get to Amphale, though, night has fallen and you must stop once again. As you guys are stopped along the side of the road, nice evening fire chit-chatting before everyone begins to fall off to sleep. I'll say before anyone goes to bed, I need Juliet and Kai to make Arcana checks for me. You both feel something, and Jen, you feel it, but you did not have to roll for it. This magical heat emanating from around you. Even though magical fire gets very close to elemental fire in what it does, there is a perceptible difference to those trained in the arts. It is omnipresent in every direction around you. And Jen, the reason you notice it, you can feel and draw elemental fire. You cannot draw on arcane fire, and you feel innately that difference when there's arcane heat in your presence.
I would like to vamp check.
The air and the ground around you begins to ever so slightly glow, giving off a celestial presence.
Yes.
Kai, I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw. There is this migraine pain on a magnitude you have never felt before. 1,000,000 different stab wounds going straight through your skull. Kai just instantly doubles over in pain. With the wisdom save, you do not fall unconscious from this pain.
I was immediately going over to Kai to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, Oris takes out his short bow and starts, looking around to see if this is being caused by some sort of enemy.
Are you okay?
I don't know what happened.
Are we under attack?
And suddenly, the air around you gets ice cold. Boros and Orsk, you can now feel this cold as well. The wind howling through. The merchants all go to hide in or under their carts, terrified of what's going on. Horses get spooked and the merchants are fighting to rein them in. The direwolves have now joined you guys around the center of your camp, looking for whatever might be a threat in the area. Kai, you hear in your mind a familiar voice of your patron scream out pure agony as you hear her voice get ripped away with whatever final connection to her you had, and her voice fades. And over the course of the next 30 seconds, the winds die down and the temperature begins to return to normal. You no longer feel a connection to your patron.
She's gonna do a simple minor illusion. She's gonna make a small little shrooms.
For about 5 to 10 seconds, tries to flicker into existence, and Kai, you struggle. You're pulling everything from within you to try and create this most basic, completely still illusion, and finally, after about 10 seconds, you can make a stable minor illusion. But you do it without pulling from the power of your patron.
Okay. She's just almost in panic attack. Something bad just happened. You know the friend I talked about? I think something happened. Real bad.
Last time we heard, we were having a meeting with the Nyogi. The hell happened?
I guess the meeting was ambushed.
All the more reason why we need to get to our destination.
And quickly.
Can someone help me get out of the floor? I can't really get up.
I'll help you out.
And you all begin to set up a watch rotation, giving Kai much required rest and time to think over what has gone on. A little bit of a bite of cold every time the wind kicks up, and the night drags on in silence. After a long, long night, the sun begins to rise over the horizon. The merchants pack up their camping gear without any words exchanged, having witnessed what happened over the night. Stand ready to go whenever you guys decide to continue your journey.
I'd assume it was going to take a while for the merchants to pack up and stuff, so I'm going to find an open area to train. I do a horizontal claw slash, and then my other hand does a claw thrust. The air in front of me starts to wave like a mirage, and I'm just gonna practice that as they're getting ready.
Train your abilities and find new ways to defend yourselves. And within the hour, the merchants are ready to go. Very silent half-day's travel. You arrive to the small village of Amphale. Quite a few hundred people living here, and a good amount of different buildings and merchants to keep this town running. You do see a large building that stands out from the rest off the edge of town. 5 or 6 story stone building that almost looks like an old church, run down with moss growing over it, and a large clock tower up at the top of it, and the words etched in the stone, Amphale's Asylum for Orphan Children.
We're gonna go check out this orphanage, right? We should at least tell Arthur's family that he's dead. Just feels like the easier explanation as opposed to you jumped into a pumpkin portal and vanished.
Didn't I shall accompany you to the orphanage?
Orsk is going to watch, see how this unfolds.
Beautiful. We'll split the party then.
Boros and Kai staying back within the cart. The merchants gather their carts right on the edge of town, staying out of the way of any possible shenanigans. As the three of you approach, you see this young human kid, early teens, on this long black cloak sitting in the grass out front with a book. As you pass by him, a crash of thunder comes across the sky, giggles to himself. This older, gnomish woman's face peek out from behind the door. Shalesh, I've told you not to scare the newcomers. Hi there. Welcome.
We were looking for some information on a young man who was headed here with his grandfather. I don't know if they rode ahead or not. His name is Arthred?
Oh, Arthred. Yeah, we know quite a bit about him. He comes and goes from time to time.
Interesting. When was the last time you saw him?
Just this morning. Arthred! You have some people here to see you.
Did she say just this morning?
Oh my god. He's here.
Please, come on in. We have many reading rooms that you're welcome to use to catch up with him, as long as you'd like. We just ask that you don't take him off the premises without permission first.
Of course.
The first thing you guys notice walking in is carved marble floors in this first initial great room, towering ceilings up high with beautiful, naturally lit chandeliers with perfectly placed skylights and give a beautiful amount of natural light in this room. 10 to 20 different kids just moving about, and she'll lead you into a center table.
At just a surface level glance, do these look like normal children, or do they seem odd, like Arthur did?
Humans, elves, gnomes, dwarfs, a couple of Goliath children here. You know the kid outside that gave you a clap of thunder upon entering, some sort of wizard in training. There is a couple young kids that are clerics in training as well, in some type of holy attire with glowing holy symbols present of different deities. But they all seem pretty normal children. Smiling, laughing, study or school books in their hands as well, not only getting an education here, but do seem happy about it. Motion to the center table in the room and say, "You're welcome to wait here. I'll go find out where Arthur is, probably buried off in a book somewhere. He doesn't interact with most of the other residents that often." Walk off towards the staircase.
I will let them know that Arthur is here. Dash back over to the rest of the convoy.
And you three begin heading in after a few minutes, coming down the staircase, the same gnomish woman. And you see it in tow, a long, probably a size too big black cloak. And she motions at him to the table and meet your guys' gaze. And this huge smile comes across his face and he runs up and sits down across from you. Hi, guys.
You're looking well.
Where have you been?
My teacher has a different demi-plane that she exists on. It's the best way I can describe it. Just a really safe space to practice my magic where I can't harm anyone.
I'm gonna look around to make sure everybody leaves the area besides us, and then ask, last time we met, how did you survive?
I still haven't found the answer to that, and neither has my teacher. Kind of an instinct. So far, we haven't been able to replicate. It brought me into her attention, and she realized the power that I might have and that it needs to be honed, and so hopefully eventually we can figure it out.
What's her name?
I'm not allowed to repeat. Names carry power in certain places, especially given the current world events and such.
Does she care about this war?
She's told me bits and pieces, know about the drow. She would rather I not be involved. Doesn't have much care for what goes on in the material plane or any other plane for that matter.
Is she training others?
Not that I know of. He will look over at you, Kai, and... Can we talk more? One of the side rooms for a second.
I'm gonna
like that.
insight check that.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to insight that too.
that's Hell yeah!
Ooh.
Oh,
Nice.
Jin and Boros. It's hard to determine what he does want to talk about. Orsk, can we go down to whispers?
woo!
Oh.
Whisper Town, baby.
Who's got the bingo?
I totally
Uh,
forgot about
I don't-
whispers.
I don't think any of us put whispers on bingo this week.
Have you guys got anything on your bingo yet?
We did meet a familiar NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
However, I don't think that the orphanage is cursed, haunted, broken, or evil. So I may not get that one. I think this may be someone contacting Kai about what happened. I feel like not arriving in Phandalin is a free space at this point.
Arthur has gotten up and is leading Kai to one of the reading rooms. There is a little window in the door.
If Juliet stands, can she see Kai?
You can see the top of Arthur's head. You cannot see Kai. A piece of parchment with some hastily scribbled words on them appears. You see Orsk's hand push it in front of you all. The note says, Arthur knows more about Kai's patron than he's letting on to. That's what he probably wants to talk to her about. Gnomish woman, the same one that greeted you before. She sits across from you all. Hope the reunion went swell. Are you the ones that the dispatch spoke about from the way in? The adventuring party making their way up the Sword Coast? Thank you for stopping whatever you did down there. I don't really understand it, and frankly, I think it's better if I don't. You're welcome to host up at the local tavern. I've got like 2 rooms. We have a good relationship with Inn. Free of charge, we could sponsor you there.
That would be much appreciated.
And they do have a local spirit that is made only here in Amphale called Clouded Twister. I've heard nothing but good things.
I would love to try this Clouded Twister.
Take out 20 gold and say, the kids look joyful here. Thank you for making sure future has more good people. Here's my donation for your good deeds. And I'll hand her the 20 gold.
She'll carefully pick it up. Thank you. I'm glad that you see that the children are happy. It's a not easy life for many of them, but we make do with what we can. I must get back to my duties, though. We are a little bit overcrowded, so travel safely. She'll give you a little nod and head off. Probably close to half an hour. Walks back out of the room and gives you guys a little nod before he heads upstairs, leaving the door open and Kai still sitting at a table inside the room.
Hey Kai, how are you feeling?
Honestly, a little bit better, yeah.
Relatively short walk in the small village to the Honden Inn. Small 2-story red brick building with a pink heather-thatched roof. You head in, couple human patrons just sitting off in the corner, sharing mugs of ale, and then behind the bar, male copper skin figure with a bald head, kitchen apron on, was wiping down the bar and looks up. Well, what can I get for you all?
I will have the fried chicken.
Can I interest you all in our signature drink here from Amphale? The Clouded Twister?
Ooh. So why do they call it the Clouded Twister?
Ah. He reaches down and you hear a couple of glasses tinking and some liquid pouring, and as he sets up a very tall glass, blue liquid down at the bottom half, and then a white, foamy, soft substance up top, and as he spins the straw around, they swirl together, become one, and the glass itself as they mix starts to ever so slightly levitate off the bar top.
First, we'll take a sip.
It is a very potent spirit, but also hits all the different flavor profiles as it floats across your tongue almost, culminate into a very pleasurable experience.
Everyone, you gotta try this. This is amazing.
If Orsk approves, I will like one, please.
And he'll lean down and pass one out to anyone who would like one. Whatever else anyone orders, he will go and retrieve. He'll reach into his pocket and pull a few keys out. 3 rooms, 2 beds apiece, made ready for you, whenever you wish.
Grab my deluxe mod and craft another potion if I have time.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to make a potion of strength this time, using the monitor blood.
Make a medicine roll with your proficiency modifier. Spread out your alchemy supplies in your room for the evening and take a couple of hours making a potion that will temporarily bolster one's strength, and you have a good feeling you accomplished your goal.
Put everything away and satisfied for the night.
Is anyone else doing anything for the evening? Out behind this inn, merchants have set up a circle of carts for protection, and the direwolves are with them. Weaker to almost of travel now. Merchants have grown accustomed to being around these vicious and ferocious animals. They play with them, throw sticks. Even a couple of them attempt to play tug of war with some reinforced hempen rope, though they always seem to lose. It's like usually 5 or 6 of them on one side, and the direwolf doesn't even seem to be pulling that hard, and just tugs them across camp. Sleep eventually finds you all. That's where we're going to end tonight.